Hapo Vipi?
Hapo Vipi is a political movement, and what we are trying to do is have Kenyans involved by taking responsibility of the politics of the day, and basically trying to reclaim this country and taking it to a new political dispensation, and also raising the bar of the Kenyan politics. So it's a long-term project. We are starting now. The ultimate goal we want is to get a referendum. We think we have a nice referendum where Kenyans paid a huge price to get there. It took 20 years, a lot of lives were lost. But we've tested it in the last 5 years. And it's about time we clean up the gray areas that we have and then get Kenyans involved.
What are these gray areas you think should be cleaned up through a referendum?
Well, our approach is different. What we want to do is ask questions, right? For example, we have a bloated government whereby we have to ask, do we need all these governors, right? Do we need all these MPs even, or MCAs? And when we pose those kind of questions, we want to hear from Kenyans, right? We also want to address issues of the women representation, for example. There has been a huge debate about it, whereby women feel like they got a raw deal. Yeah? But the issue is we have to look at this from two perspectives. First, there's an elective way for women to get involved. The second way is, of course, they're being appointed. And we have to ask questions. I mean, the elective way is a bit challenging, yeah? And Parliament and the government at large has not been able to find a formula. So we have to ask a question, how do we do it, right? Personally, I have my own view, but I want to ask questions about those issues that affect us, right? The environment, for example, our land use system, right? The question of land ownership, whereby somebody believes that since you bought this land and you have a title, it's yours forever, so that the government cannot do anything about it. I mean, you have to ask questions. And many other issues. And our forum will open up and let people also come up with questions that we can address to change the current constitution.
With just 8 days to go to the general polls on August the 8th, how much impact do you think Hapo Vipi has made so far?
I don't know, but so far we launched it 20 days ago. Our activity, especially on social media, has been incredible. People are getting involved. They still are not sure what Hapo Vipi is. And,
well, 20 days is not
yeah,
long.
So it will take some time. But with this election, we actually know who can deliver our agenda. And we've made it clear, and it's public now. Basically because he's the reformer among the two brothers. I call them brothers because these guys, when they meet, they get excited about each other, right? They call each other up if there's a wedding or a funeral. And although the president is a good friend of mine and a person, I mean, he comes from my village, and I worked with him, actually. I used to chair most of his campaigns initially. On this one, I think our movement has chosen Raila, mainly because of his his track record.
Okay,
on
let's
reforms.
get this straight.
Yeah.
Hapo Vipi is trying to get a referendum to address
True.
a number of issues.
True.
One of them being the bloated government. We need to cut down the amount of representation we have in Parliament, and of course governors, women representatives, you name it.
Yeah.
You've talked about land issues.
Yeah.
What else? And if the target is a referendum, when?
Well, we'll come up with many questions, right, that we think are concerned, Kenyans are concerned about. We'll also ask Kenyans to also ask some questions. But Hapo Vipi will give that platform to those Kenyans. Also we are also putting our trust on the Kenyan intelligence, because I believe personally that the issues that confront us, Kenyans, especially those who are indifferent, who just sit on the fence, and professionals and technocrats, guys who are exposed, they have solutions for this country. And we want to give that platform for them to give us those solutions, and then eventually come up with a referendum question. It will probably take 1 year or 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter. We're just getting started.
Isn't this highly dependent on which government we'll have after the August 8 polls?
That is...
What happens if it doesn't go your way, because you already made it very clear who you're supporting in this election?
We'll still push it. We'll still push it. This is a conversation we can have with either the Right Honorable Raila Odinga or even the president. I mean, I know the president personally. He's a good man. And actually, I love him. But on the election bit of it, I just want to... I think Raila would be a better guy to fulfill our agenda.
What has been the reception towards this cause so far, especially from young people? Oh,
the young guys, man, it's been amazing. I think the young people in this country want something different. They want a new approach of doing things. They want also a re-energized political system or campaign that is not the old tradition. It's true what they say, that the meaning of insanity is doing things the same way over and over.
Expecting different results.
Exactly, yeah, true. So to all Kenyans, I mean, we've got to start thinking differently and also face up to the challenges that we have. I mean, I get so perturbed when it comes to elections, when we have very intelligent guys we went to school with, and all intellectual reasoning goes, and we're just focused on our tribe. It's just amazing. I mean, if you look at the current political arena right now, if you're from the Jubilee strongholds, for example, even die-hard politicians, you have to align, right? If you go to the NASA strongholds, if you're not with Raila, man, you're in trouble. And if you're left out, you stay in the cold for a long time. So it's really, we've got to change that narrative and get issue-based. And let's be serious. Let's look at issues and start facing them up. And don't blame anyone. We have to blame ourselves, especially some of us who are a bit exposed and older, yeah, and who know Kenya could be better. Yeah.
So what are the avenues you will be using to reach out to as many people as you can for this particular initiative?
First of all, I need a lot of money because I want to do a lot of marketing. We need the best boots on the ground. We need a brigade of volunteers. We need to sensitize and educate, right? And that takes a lot of money, right? Initially, we've started small, but we want to reach out to Kenyans here, Kenyans in the diaspora. And I point out the Kenyans in the diaspora because Kenyans in the diaspora, especially in the UK, the US, wherever they are, they know what it means to invest in leadership. They know what it means to invest in good causes. And that's, again, is the only way we are going to kill corruption. Because this is how it works. A politician, and I have a lot of respect for Kenyan politicians because I think they're smart guys, they're good businessmen, will get out there, invest his own money, about 10, 20 million shillings, 30, get into parliament, buy his way in most of the time, get into parliament, or be a governor or whatever it is. The first agenda he has, of course, is to recoup his money, right? The second agenda is to make sure that he has enough money for the next elections. And of course, for his retirement. And this is where the problem is, because, and you can't blame the politician, because we are asking for money, yeah? We are bought, right? So the politicians need the money, right? To buy you. So ultimately, we are the ones forcing them to do this.
And this is something you seek to change with Hapo Vipi?
Yep.
Final remarks as we head into the August 8 polls?
Well, of course, we still have a country. I think I have a lot of respect and honor for the current frontrunners. I think they've done a good job for this country, both of them. Let's keep it peaceful, right? The mess we are in, we can get out. Let's not get caught up by issues of violence. We're heading to Kisumu this weekend as Hapo Vipi movement, which is exciting for me. I've never met the Prime Minister myself, although I'm supporting him. I know the President pretty well. But it's really not about them. This is about all of us. It's also not about me. Hapo Vipi is about Kenyans. We'll make sure that we keep on feeding them with the right information so that it unfolds. But basically, let's take responsibility.
All right. Thank you so much for coming into Worldview.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making it here. Steve Mwangi is the founder of Hapo Vipi, and as he says, it's going to be a long conversation. Hapo Vipi has been in place for, say, what, 20 days now? 20 days. All right, so it's definitely going to be a long time coming with the conversations on, one, he says, the bloated representation in the government. But of course, we'll be keeping tabs on you and the movement to see how that goes. So here on Worldview, let's now take a short commercial break. Don't go too far. Coming up,
25 million euros to be spent in the Titanic-scale structural reconstruction of France's iconic building.